Hello guys, so welcome to our new tutorial on C++ programming. In the last tutorial, we discussed some of the key aspects of C++ programming, and we started our first program on C++. There we discussed some of the things like how the actual compilation starts, what is the process of preprocessor, and how we can define the class, how we can use the object to manipulate the class members and functions, and how you can define the objects using class. So these were some of the key aspects that we discussed in our last tutorial. So before going any further, I want you to learn these few concepts. This is a minor concept that you sometimes miss, but in the near future there will be tutorials where you will get to know new things that I believe you don't understand till now because you don't know about the deep learning of data type. What are data types? So here I want you to learn what are data types, how we can use data types to manipulate the programming. So let's start. What are data types? In simple language, a data type means what type of value a variable is holding. Simply, data type means what type of value a variable has and what type of mathematical and logical operations can be applied on it without causing an error. So we all know we define an integer in the form of like int a, that is a variable, equals something. So here a is a variable, equals is an assignment operator, and suppose 5, a equals 5, so 5 is a constant. So there a is holding a value 5, that is a whole number, and int, the definition int means that it is a keyword. The keyword that is in fact a data type. In the last tutorial I discussed with you, I told you how compiler actually reads a keyword, a token, and detect it whether it's a keyword or not. So in the same way, int is detected by the compiler that yes, it is a keyword. And what is keyword? It is a type of data type. So a data type means what type of value a variable has in the memory. Okay. So there are basically three types of data types. First is user defined, second one is built-in type, and third one is derived type. Okay. So as I told you, data type holds, it translates what type of data is variable is having and what are the mathematical and logical functions that can be applied on it. So here our data type is string, that is used for alphanumeric characters. For example, hello world, that is a string, or sometimes Bob123, that is a string. So a data type is string and we use it as an alphanumeric character, and this is your example. Second one is integer, that we all know, that is used to hold whole numbers, that is in the form of 7, 12, and 999. So this is the basic structure of C++ data type. Here a data type is of three types, that is user defined, built-in, and derived. First let's put our focus on built-in. Built-in actually means that is already understandable by compiler, that is predefined in the standard libraries. So first one is integral. This type of built-in data type holds the value, holds the data type like int and char. Int is an integer value that we all know that holds value like whole numbers in the form of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, signed and unsigned an integer value. And in the character, we usually store string values like character A equals B, A equals B. So here A is in character and it is holding a string value. So this is known as built-in data type, where whenever you type int, that is int, it will be understandable to compiler that it is an built-in data type. Second one is float. Float is basically used for decimal points. Like float is used to store decimal values. Sometimes we need to find the average of two numbers like Suppose we need to divide 3 with 2. So what will be the result? 1.5. Suppose if we define two variables like int a and int b, and int a is having a value 3, int b is having a value 2, and their result will be stored in C, that is again an integer type value. So what will be the result? 3 divided by 2, and the data type is int. Yeah, so the value will be 1. Why? Because we define it as a whole number, as an integer, so it will hold the value 1. It will round off the value to the nearest whole number, that is 1. So in order to find the accurate value, in order to find the decimal values, we define in the form of float and double. Now your third point is, third built-in data type is void. Believe me guys, this is one of the most important data type that you must keep in your mind, because in the interviews, your interviewer will ask you this basic question: why void is used, where we can use void, how it is built in data type. So these are the questions that he will put to you, and you won't be able to answer it, because sometimes you skip this section, but here you need to concentrate on this section, particularly why void is used. What is void? Simply, the void is used to specify the return type of a function when it is not returning any value. Here, suppose we use values like int and your function name, that is ABC. That means your function ABC is of data type int. It means after the successful execution of the function will return an integer value. That's why we use return equals 0. That means after the successful execution, it should give the value 0. But sometimes when we want to specify the return type of a function that is not returning any value, then we use void. Okay, and its second use is, sometimes it is used to indicate the empty argument list of a function. Suppose we define it as int function with braces, and in between braces we define it as void. It means the function is containing no arguments. So here again we can use void. Third, that is most important, void is used in the declaration of generic pointer. The pointer that is not returning any values, that is not pointing to any particular value. We'll cover this section in a tutorial again, but this is the main function of void. The main aspect of void is that it used in the declaration of generic pointers. It is that pointer that is not pointing to a very particular pointer. We cannot dereference it. So these are all built-in void function. So C++ compilers support all the built-in data types. As I discussed with you, C++ compiler understand what are the built-in data types. It supports all the built-in data types. Integral type can declare integer and character values, as I told you, and also integral type values can sometimes hold Boolean values. Boolean means values that is in the form of true false, 0 1. If something is true, then we'll pass the value 1. If something is false, we'll pass the value 0. So integral type hold the Boolean values too. So that is all about built-in data type. Your second aspect is user defined data type. User defined means the data type that is defined by us. For example, class. In the last section I told you what is class. A class is nothing but a collection of objects. Okay, class doesn't hold any value, but it contains a variable and data members of similar type. That is a class. A class is itself again a data type, and object is the variable of that class, which is in fact a data type. So it is a user defined data type. That is not a built-in data type. Second one is structure. What is structure? A structure is a type consisting of a sequence of members whose storage is allocated in an order sequence. What that means? Suppose we take a value in the form of stack, means 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here, if I want to save my name, that is Akash, then at the 0th location, my value will be A, next A, K, A, S, H. So in this way, a structure is a type consisting of a sequence of members. It is containing a members, like we can define 2 or 3 functions within that structure, but it will store in an orderly sequence, and we can use that structure keyword in any program as a template. And again, your third type of user-defined data type is union. Union is again as same as the structure, but the basic difference between these two is that the members are stored or are allocated in the memory in an unordered sequence. They will overlap each other. So this is the basic difference between structure and union. So these are user-defined data type. Class is a collection of objects of similar type. Built-in, as I discussed with you, void, it is used to specify the return type of a function when it is not returning any value. Void is used to indicate an empty argument list to a function. That was I was telling you that, for example, void, that is a data type of any function whose argument list contains nothing. So we'll point it as void. It means our function's argument list is empty. So here again, void is used. Integral values, that is holding any integer value, which is in fact a whole number. Boolean, that is true, false. Character, holding any string value, for example, character ABC is equal to A. Float and double, they are used to hold real numbers. Example, float. Salary, that is 2000, 1 to 3. Size of the float is 4 bytes. And the size of the double is 8 bytes. What that means? That the double is in fact the double float. So I'll tell you later when we do some programming on these data types. But these were the basic things that you should keep in your mind. That is all about your user-defined data type. Now comes derived data type. Now comes your derived data type. First is array. What is an array? Array means ordered collection of items indexed by contiguous integer. That means suppose we define anything like char, that is character. String, will take any value string like A, B, C, D, E, F, up to 6 characters. So these 6 characters will be occupying an ordered list that is indexed by the contiguous integer, like A will be at the 0th location, B will be at first, C at second, 3, 4, 5. In this way, it will be holding in an orderly manner, it is an ordered collection. So this is known as array. Okay. Second one, your derived data type is a function. What is a function? We are all talking about we are using functions, we are talking about function, but what exactly is function? A function is a group of statements that together performs a task. As simple as that. In the last tutorial, when we were doing a programming on using class, we defined two functions, if you remember, void get data and void, what was that? Display. So in the get data function, there were 2 statements. First statement was like cout, that was a message was displayed to the user that he needs to input a value, and second statement was to get an input from the user. So that function get data was in fact a group of statements that all together performing a task. So that was function, a group of statements. Okay. Now what I was telling you about array is that how array is stored. What is an array? As I told you, array is an ordered collection of items indexed by a contiguous integer. Okay, so Here, suppose we are having a book. Okay, so that first page will contain the foreword, second page will be having chapter first, third page will be having chapter second, then chapter third and chapter 4. So here you can see forward will be indexed by 0, chapter first will be indexed by 1, chapter 2 will be indexed by 2, chapter 3 will be indexed by 3, and chapter 4 will be indexed by 4. So these are all in orderly manner and indexed by contiguous integer. So these are known as derived types. So guys, this is all about data types here. Let me give you a brief discussion, brief conclusion about data types again. What are data types? Data types are nothing but variable holding what type of value, and what are the functions, what are the methods that can be applied on that variable so that there won't be any error. There are 3 types of data types: user defined, built-in type, derived type. Built-in type contains 3 types of data type, that is integral type, void, and floating type. Integral type contains 3 types of values like integer, that is it holds whole number, character, it holds strings, and boolean, it holds value in the form of true false, that is 0 1. Void, that is used to define any function list whose argument list is empty, or sometimes it is used for declaring generic pointers. Third one is floating type, it holds decimal values. Okay, user defined types, we discuss about structure, means orderly manner, collection of objects in orderly manner, union in a non-linear fashion, class, collection of objects. Okay, now derived type, derived means array, array means ordered collection of items indexed by a contiguous integer, that is names are stored in an orderly manner and indexed by a contiguous sequence of integer. Second one is function, group of statement performing task. So these are the basic data types. I hope you like this session. My voice is not so good at this moment, but still, if you like this section, please like it, subscribe it, and please comment below, and we'll meet in the next section and we'll start our programming again. Thank you.